So in this video, I'm gonna show you how to install C6 seats into a C3 Corvette. And the method that we're gonna use in this is we're just gonna take the C3 rails and bolt them directly to the C6 frame. The first step is going to be get the original seats out. This might not be factory hardware, but I'm using a 13mm and I've got a little swivel head. To get the fronts out, I've got the seat all the way back. All right, now we're going to slide the seat forward to get the rear bolts. This style of seat is referred to as the clamshell seat. I think it's because it opens and closes and it looks like a clamshell. It was in the C3 Corvettes from 1978 to 82, and it's a pretty common seat swap to put in the earlier C3 Corvettes. Because it does have some bolster, it is a little bit more comfortable, but honestly the C6 seat is way better. These sliders, it only has a latching mechanism on one side. And so as far as our forward to back movement, it's not going to be super critical that they have to be perfectly lined up where they're mounted, because this side just kind of floats and it'll make up the difference. We did measure from center to center on these mounting holes, and we are at 15 9/16 front and back. And so when we put these on the other seat, we want to make sure that that lines up perfect. The driver's side, it has 4 bolts that bolt down this way. However, the passenger side has the rear bolts bolt down and then the front bolts bolt up. So we're gonna take these back ones out first and then just try to move the cushion so that we can get these front ones out from the top. Now it's probably just because these rails are old and gunked up, but they needed a little bit of persuasion to go all the way forward. There's a little access hole right here in the back, and we'll just put the socket in through there. The head size on that bolt is a 3/8. All right, now you peel back the cushion right there, and that is the bolt that goes down. All right, so there's one side off. And then to get this little knob off, you're just gonna pull and wiggle, and it'll slowly work its way off. And then that can slip out. Moving over to the C6 seat, I'm gonna start taking out some of the unneeded electronics. We've taken off the base of this already. That was done months ago, otherwise I'd have a video on that. But all this stuff is gonna be unneeded. The only thing that we need to keep in here is this mechanical lever is for the reclining motion. All right, so looking at the back part of the seat rail, there's this little triangle. We're going to want to make sure that our nutsert goes right in the middle of that. So we're going to mark this coming across, and then we'll mark the width that we need. All right, so we've got that marked. As far as center to center, where the rails bolt to the frame, that measured at 15 7/16. Center to center of where it bolts to the floor, measured at 15 9/16. These bolts are a 5/16 by 18 thread pitch, and these are the nutserts that we're going to use. The drill bit size that we're going to use on these is a So we're going to go over a couple of the differences between the rails. On the driver's side rails, it sits closer to the frame, and for this mechanism to clear right here, we've actually drilled a hole right there and then also put one washer in between. And that gives us just enough space for that mechanism to work. However, on the passenger side, this rail actually sits up higher, and so there was enough room there, we didn't need to do any modification. All right, so the last thing we need to do is just bolt down all the rails, and we're good to go. With the nutserts, you want to be careful not to over torque them because it will spin out of there. With the rails bolted on both sides, they're ready to go back in the car. Overall, it's a pretty simple install and it's a great upgrade. This is what they look like installed. I'm really happy with them and they're a lot more comfortable.